Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoyed these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you like this watch, see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing a Vacheron Historiques American 1921. This is a timepiece that combines the well-known form of the American that bowed in its modern iteration in 2008 with the 2014 advent of a yellow gold case. It is 3N yellow gold and thus very yellow, an intense yellow originally designed for the Chinese market, now available globally. Its appeal, appropriately enough, is universal. It's also comfortable on a broad range of wrists. 40 millimeters square, it's only 8.2 millimeters thick, so solidly in ultra thin territory. I'll also add that lug-to-lug, it's reasonably compact. You're going to find this one 45.9 millimeters across the wrist is appropriate for wrists as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. The spacing between the lugs is modern. 22 millimeters gives it a broad spacing and thus a broad and stable stance on the wrist. So if you wish to accessorize, that is the size to order. You will note that the strap is worth keeping. Large rectangular scale alligator leather. It's a matte finish, black on top, monotone stitch. You will note it is a very slim folded profile, so you can see the two layers of construction as well as the calfskin underlay, one layer gaiter, one layer calf. Vacheron Maltese cross motif pin buckle, traditional, yes, easily adjusted, and also featuring the emblem of the manufacturer in the Maltese cross. Getting back to the case itself, it's simple and elegant. It's a cushion profile made famous by a watch made in 1919 and a subsequent model made in 1921, both for the American market. This watch combines elements of both into the current historique design that you see here. So a few dial details and case details have changed, but for the most part it's faithful to history. Whether you believe the urban legend, and I guess the urban legend that is perpetuated on watch forums exclusively, that this is an early dress watch or simply an unconventional recasing of a pocket watch or pendant movement, nevertheless the design is distinctive, and you will find that when you wear it in a car, it's simply easy to read off the wrist at an angle. So truth in advertising, at least from those who would conjecture on its origin. You'll also note that the dial is wonderfully subtle. It has an opaline grain with a sort of off-white nickel coloration, transferred and florid Art Deco era numerals. Let's remember the Exposition des Arts Décoratifs was not until 1925 or 26, so a 1921 or a 1925 would have anticipated Art Deco without actually being Art Deco. Railroad style minutes track outboard, and you can see some of the elegance of the final pocket watches in the hands, which are Leaf and Breguet hybrids. There is a sunken and somewhat snailed subregister in a more overt and traditional silver with its own miniature railroad track for the seconds, and an applied Maltese cross motif logo just above the corporate marquee at 12. Turn it all over, you can see the lugs are welded style, so they are created separately, welded on, and then the joint between them, the soldering is removed manually, all of high polish. The case features the Geneva hallmark post-2012. The Geneva hallmark is now a standard for an entire watch rather than simply the movement inside the watch. This is principally Vacheron, but also the Geneva authorities keeping a pace with Patek Philippe's challenge and the Patek Philippe standard for the whole watch. You will note the Geneva hallmark on the movement as well, and it is the Geneva hallmark manufacturer Vacheron caliber 4000/1, manual wind, 65-hour power reserve, 28,800 vibrations per hour. The timepiece adjusted in a chronometer style 5 positions, so it is accurate as well as beautiful. 21 jewels, flat and traditionally laid out the way an old-style pocket watch would be, with a true center wheel, third wheel, fourth wheel, escape wheel, and then a lever indexing the balance itself. Let's see if we can get closer and improve our resolution. Now the movement has all of the traditions of Geneva finishing, quite orthodox in its use of linear Côte de Genève across the bridges, richly textured, laid down with an abrasive wheel and perfectly aligned from bridge to bridge, black polished screw heads rather than blued. Their slots are chamfered, their heads are black polished, and the stalks or pilets below their threaded segments, if you were to extract them, the bottom of the screw stalk would be polished to a mirror shine. That's the Geneva hallmark standard. You'll note a black polished cap to the regulator and a double screwed Geneva style stud holder with a fine adjustment mechanism built in. These are accurate and fine movements that are also quite slim. There's an engine turned perlage across the base plate, and when I turn it flush to the camera, you can see the edges of the bridges lighting up that rounded handled mirrored anglage, and you'll see the same treatment lavished on every jewel and screw countersink. 30 meters water resistant, and there's no hacking seconds function, so it's not a sports watch, and in some ways it's antiquarian in its sensibility as well as its engineering, but in terms of the quality of what you're putting on your wrist, best in the business. Vacheron doesn't have a design icon like Audemars Piguet has the Royal Oak, JLC has the Reverso, Rolex has the Sub, and Patek has the Nautilus. This is the closest thing Vacheron has to an across-the-room recognition design icon. No ifs, ands, or buts, this is the face of one of the greatest manufacturers in watchmaking. See it on the watch box.